So I want to take you to the second part of where to store your JavaScript file and how you access the HTML element part video with it. So as we move through this, let me come over here and just to show you some few things that you have access and you have done to your HTML to it as well. So this is our index page, and this is what I put on here. I was talking about how you can change the title with it, and I commented it out because we're going to talk about other codes with it. So if you want to put a / in front of it, and this is in the script with it, and this is where we left off from the first video with it as well. I just want to make sure you do that. In the script that we're about to talk to you right now with it is I want to show you how to access the ID. This ID that you have here, this is the ID name is ID_1 and the class name is class_1 with it. So let's come over here, and there is a traditional way doing it, but this is what the library file do it, and I'll show you what I do in industry with it. So one of the things that I do a lot of times, this is easy the way it's built into it. Well, you could do something along the line with console, again, to get onto screen.log. And inside of this, you can actually go in and do like document you're familiar that we did earlier by get element by ID. And you put this in a parentheses and apostrophe, the string that's inside of it. And if you recall, our ID is called, the string is called ID_1. And I'll just copy that and Control C and come over to that between the apostrophe and Control V and paste that in there like so. And I'll come over here and put a semicolon after this as well. So let me explain what we just did. Remember how we did the hello world? So the hello world now is no longer this. What you're passing through is a string. What you're passing through is the actual ID is actually this ID right here. But this is the variable called document, and document has a period syntax, which makes it into what's called a method. A method is an action. How do I know it's a method between a method or a property? Well, a method has what's called these two left and right parentheses right here. And these two left and right parentheses makes it a method. Think of it as an action. So get element by ID, and you're passing across an apostrophe ID1, which is the HTML page over there with it. And it goes back to this variable called document with it as well. So same goes here is if you notice console.log has a dot syntax, and the log basically has a left and right parentheses, and it tells you this is what? A method, right? So without the left and right parentheses, it makes it a properties with it. So I just want to do that, and Control S saves it, and I want to show you this on this side over here on the screen that we just looked at. This is the HTML page with it, and you say this is it's been logged on here as the ID one. This is the same one that we can actually have this paragraph tag that you can actually have with this as well, you see. So this is the content, this is a p tag from the ID, so this is what this is that's coming across from it right here, right? So of course you can do anything different, what you cannot do is, remember how we changed the title name, is what if I took this variable document, I get ID, and I took this and I did this, and I assign it to something different like this, okay? And I'll come over here and I'll word wrap this in a second with it. If I do view and just let me word wrap this, this is going to give me an error because it's not going to work, because this is eventually what you're trying to do. You're passing in a static memory into something that is written into the RAM memory with it. So this is not doable. This will cause an error. So this will cause an error. Okay, so this is a no-no. Look, you can see how this is kicking out with it. So the way how I did was I did autosave. If you want to do this, autosave right here. Check that, and I don't have to, so we don't have to click on save every time that when we do this. So to avoid this, so what I need for you, just remove this. This does not work. This is not doable with it. This is not what you want to happen with it as well. Come down here, and we're going to look at some other options, of course. If I did console, and anything that I type in console and output the log, it does take you to have a little bit more finesse that some of the stuff that you are looking at. Is, let's say if I did get, of course I did get. Last time we did get, what did we do? Get document. You have to use the variable document dot get, and of course here's our ID, and there's also class name in there as well with it. We're not going to do all this. Let me show you a quicker way of doing this, a better way of doing this. Instead of going through every one of these things and we pull up the ID, or here's a better way. So the better way is what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to use what's called an array with it. So we're gonna there's a constant is a reserved word const, and you could use a variable create a makeup variable, call this element my elements. Okay, so my elements, let me type the syntax and I'll talk to you about what this means with it. So I'm going to use that document.query. Now I want to point this out. There's query selector and query selector all, and I'm going to do both of these right now. Let me do the first one as a selector with it. So query selector allows me to actually go in, and the moment I hit the left parentheses, it automatically close the right parentheses. So this makes it a method, because it has the left and right parentheses, right? And I can put apostrophe in there. It tells me, so what do you want to actually have me to query? So I'll do the P, all the P's. I'll come to the right arrow, semicolon in that, and I'm gonna hit enter, and then I need to let me talk to you about the syntax right here. So const is a constant, meaning you're making a constant, a dedicated size that never changes with it. The variable called my element is something I made up with it. It's a variable. We're creating an array. The equal sign again means what? The right side now equals the left side. So this entire content variable is going to select all, just the query selector. Find me the first paragraph tag, store that into my element right now with it. Alright, so, and then I have to output it. So I'm going to output this by doing what? Console.log, and I'm going to come in. The log is going to call it, I can't use an apostrophe because this is a variable with it, and I'm going to hit tab, come to the right, hit semicolon with it, and if the moment I do that, I want you to see this is that, look, my first P tag, it's come across as this one right here. So this is the regular this is the regular tag. This is the P tag with a regular tag. You see this? So with this script right here, this line right here, console P tag ID1, this is this line, right? Let me comment that out so we can separate that out with it. So the moment I comment that out, you notice that this disappear. It only shows this one right here. All right. So what if I want to see all of it? So this is the first P tag that comes across here, is that one right there. So what if I want to see all of it? Well, I want to see all the P tags with it. Instead of doing query selector, I need to just go in and just put the word all, the one that originally, the other one I was telling you about. And the moment I do that, what I'd like to do is to show you that it gives me all the entire arrays in this P tags with it. I want to click the pull down arrow right here, and it shows me, look, this is the first P tag, and then the second one, and the third one. And now these are arrays. Arrays is a special data type with it. And I said to you that there is 5. Let me come back over here. And these are the ones I'm talking about. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 paragraphs. But you notice that the first one starts out with zeros. And you might think, wait a minute, why are you counting starting with 0? Because computers only they start counting with zeros. They don't have digits. So they count everything starting with zeros. They don't have fingers or toes like humans do. So anytime when I ask you to think of an array, the size of an array, you start counting with 1, or the length of an array, you count starting with 1. But if it's the position or element of an array in this case, this is starting with 0. So this is considered 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 with it. So these 4 that you see, that's the last one here, these are the 2 right here, it's actually 5, okay, because they start with 0 with it. So let me give you a little bit more. in this as we talk, and how you pass these elements in here as well. So let's say I saw all of that, and I went in and I pull up all of this, and let's say I just want to I want just only the what array is this, what position is this one. This is 0, 1, 2. So this is the second one, right? It would be, I can access that if I went in here, right here, and I put a square bracket with the syntax of the number 2. So this right here, look, so number 2 output is the class underscore 1, and is that right? 0, 1, 2. So this is the class underscore 1. This is the p tag with the class. Alright, so this gives you an insight in how you can actually return certain p tags. In your web page, you could have hundreds of your p tags out there with it, and you can access to read certain position of the p tags and certain ones in here as well with it. But the key thing is these are arrays. Array starts with position is 0, and you start counting with zeros with it. So 0, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 on this one. Okay, even though you see it's 5. So these are special arrays with it. So that's how you access and return the array with it. Same thing goes on. Let me go back to the script right here with it. So I can return all that. I can return, select all. What if I want to change this P right here to an ID? Like in CSS, if you remember when ID starts out with, it starts out with a pound sign or hashtag, whatever you want to call it. And you want to call, what was our ID call? What is the name of our ID again? I believe it's called ID 1. Okay, ID underscore 1. So this is our ID over here. So I'm just going to call ID underscore the word 1. Alright, so with this in mind, with it, of course, look at this. I have to maybe change that out with it. And so here's, I have to give this a return, or you can actually return. You don't have to have that with it, but it'd be nice if you can actually give it a first position in your first element with it. So your first class 1 is, look, this is the p tag with an ID. You see that? So this is an ID 1, which is, this is your first ID. This is what you're returning back. Same goes as if this is a what? A class. So if it's a class, you put a period, a little period there with it, and the class would actually should return back a what? Let's see here. That's not the name of the class. The name of the class is class 1. Give me a second here. There you go. So the moment I put a dot syntax, excuse me, this thing's kind of word wrap. It looks like that. Okay. So let me move this over here a little bit. So you could see that it returns back the class 1 over here as well. Okay. So that's multiple ways that you can actually return a class, an ID, a certain tag that you want to see with it. Just makes it really, really easy for you to access with it. Let me end here with the second video of where to select where to store your Java script and how to access your HTML element. So this is the end of the second video.